welcome to the Check with Joseki Tech. My name is Jasmine Salas, and I'll be your host for today. So today we're going to talk about an Optimove keynote speech at the Optimove Connect 2025 conference delivered by Kalev Karpuk called What We Talk About When We Talk About Gamification. Kalev Karpuk is the CEO and founder of Adact, a platform that is used to create, build, and manage gamification marketing. So he spends this talk going over what gamification really means and how gamification can be introduced into your systems to increase customer engagement, customer conversions, so on and so forth. So he starts off his conversation simply by explaining kind of the concept of a game and how the word game has really evolved from an 8th century word to now the word gamification being formally created in 2002. But even since 2002, the concept of gamification has really changed. Simply put, gamification adds a level of customer engagement using game design features that encourage customers to one, interact, and then two, are given feedback so that they can then reach some sort of reward, and then it loops back over. So they introduce the concept of the endowment progression, the probability that anyone completing a task in a system has a direct correlation with how many steps are left in that system. So if someone completes the first step, is given feedback on that step, and then moves forward into the next step, somebody that is on step 6 or so of a 10-step progression is more likely to finish than somebody who is starting out just at step 1. So if it works for you for that type of customer, so gamifying something, if it works for that type of customer, then it will keep working for that kind of customer because they are given feedback, they will continue coming back. And then I think it goes back to a little bit, they don't mention this in the chat, but it goes back to the sunk cost fallacy, of which if someone has already invested some time into something, they are more likely to continue spending time on that thing. So, for example, going back to the loyalty programs, if you fly a lot of Delta and you have gold status at Delta because you've continued for so long, you are more inclined to go with Delta again just because of the amount of work that you have been put into. Even if another airline has a cheaper ticket, you are more likely to go with Delta again because of the time that you feel that you have sunk into it. So people are more willing to continue spending time on something, even if it doesn't provide them anything major in their lives, then give up on it because they say that they've already spent so much time on it. So why not continue? So why not see it through? And so, with this idea of the endowment progression, he also brings forward this study, and we'll call this study input, in which 3 different groups, a control group, test 1 and test 2, I'll call them. So control group was given a stack of cards, a group of 5 people in 1 hour to come up with some sort of input for the dilemmas that are written on the back of these cards. So there would be a problem at a company and they need to address it. That is the base concept for all 3 of these groups. The first group just gets told, here's a stack of cards, give us input. Here's 1 hour. The first test group was given a game board in which every time they would give input, they would move forward 1 step. So they are progressing in a way that makes them feel better. They are progressing in a way that makes them feel like they have achieved something and moved up. So the second test group had a game board, but also the game design feature of competition, in which they would get told that whoever has finished the game or gone the furthest would get a better review at the end of it. So the conclusions that were drawn from this study was essentially that while the third group did provide the best feedback, they in fact wanted to continue going past the 1 hour mark because they wanted to play their game. They wanted to finish their game. So they've made it this many steps along the way, so they are more likely to finish the game. But The second group actually had the most enjoyment from it because they were allowed to progress at their own pace to what they felt was satisfactory to them. Certain people respond well to competition and are more engaged by competition, but that's not everyone. So, because it's not everyone, it brought down the overall happiness measure of that test. So, the first test group enjoyed it the most, genuinely, because they had that game feature. They wanted to keep going. They were given exact steps. They knew what the next step was and how to achieve it. They knew how much they wanted to progress, and the people that did continued to. But they didn't feel that negative part of competition that comes with losing. It's very important to have kind of a combination of these in the systems that Adact offers. And how this relates to e-commerce is, if you have someone that is invested in something, a little game perhaps, on your if you have someone that's invested in something like a game on your site, it one keeps them entertained, provides feedback to them, and so they keep coming back to get better at that game. There's no form of competition there. So there is that combination of, let's give you a game and let's give you markers for success and let's give you feedback, but let's not pit you up one against each other. When you win certain games, you may then be given a badge or points or discounts, whatever have you. And so that's why they are calling this specifically a zero cost retention model. They say it's zero cost because it all depends on the person, realistically. Once you have integrated this system, the AI personalizes it completely. It automatically works in, this person likes this game more than this other game, so we'll put more of these. They interact more with this one. They are progressing the most in this one. And it gives you whatever reward it may have you. It may not necessarily be a financial reward. It may not cost you anything to give them that because the system's already set up. So, for example, he mentions World of Warcraft and how when you level up, you can move on to a different like player space in which you have a different background. So small things like that that are already integrated into the system that are of zero cost to you at the end of the day. And so this idea of adding games, it makes sure that your customers are spending more time on your sites. Like at the end of the day, it's customer retention because they're spending more time on your website. They are making sure to, in the background, they may see whatever it is that your products are for sale. And so it keeps them coming back if they really like the game. If they're already a loyal customer, them proving to themselves how well they know your brand, it can be considered an accomplishment and keeps people coming back. So it's a retention model because you can progress at your own pace if you feel like it's a game. So what games are we talking about then? So what games make every person feel good? So let's talk about what games Adact could really add to your site that would encourage someone to keep interacting with your brand. On their website, they say that they can create over 70 games. That's a lot. Different types of games include lotteries, quizzes, prediction games, and did mini games. So simple, straightforward games, games that people have been playing forever, but now are branded and associated with your brand. So, for example, a whack-a-mole, a tic-tac-toe, a diving game, lotteries, raffles, trivia, Jeopardy, like these games that people have been playing for a long time now that are integrated into the system and can be used and adapted to your brand to keep people entertained, associate the enjoyment that they get out of that game with your brand, spend more time on your brand, and therefore, by extension, getting more of their customer wallet share. places where you spend a lot of your time are more likely where you're going to be spending your dollar bill. They are more likely going to be what differentiates a brand from another one. So you can spin a wheel for a discount, or you can play whack-a-mole, and however many moles you get is whatever percentage discount you get. What's going to be more entertaining, realistically? What's going to keep you hooked? What's going to make you believe that you can get higher rewards from this? So, all in all, I think that it would be a really interesting system. I think that it would be fun. It's a way to increase customer enjoyment on the platform. And if somebody associates your product or your brand with a level of enjoyment, even just your website, then you are more likely to gain a percentage of that customer wallet share. That's all I got for today. Take a look at Optimove's new Adact gamification features and see what games can do for you and your platform. Thanks.